Alright, this is Ubaid on behalf of V Electronics, and in this video we're going to be looking at the 7 steps when it comes to successful marketing research plan. Okay, so 7 steps. 7 steps. For a successful marketing research plan. Now, when it comes to a successful research plan, when you're trying to get information for your marketing, for your advertising, so on and so forth, these are the 7 steps. Number 1 has to do with defining the problem or figuring out what the problem is. So defining the problem. Now, this would be sort of like troubleshooting your electronics, for example, whether this is your cell phone, gadget, laptop, computer, so on and so forth. You would need to figure out what the issue is for you to troubleshoot that issue, for you to figure out the solution for that issue. However, this would be in the context of marketing. You're defining the problem. Apart from defining the problem, apart from figuring out what the problem is, you also need to develop a research plan. So this is developing a research plan. Developing research plan. And what exactly is developing the research plan? Well, when you develop a research plan, you're figuring out ways to research for your information, whether this is from a journal, whether this is from a book, whether this is from the internet, from social media, so on and so forth. So we'll need to figure out a plan to research that information to get whatever it is that you need to get in terms of your research, to get the maximum amount of information for your research. Now, apart from developing the research plan, you also have selecting the data collection method. Selecting your data collection method. Now, this could be things like consumer surveys, employee surveys, surveys that you have on your website or your blog, for example, so on and so forth. So data collection, how do you collect your data? Would it be door-to-door sales, for example, or would it be an online survey via an app, through an app? So selecting data collection method. Now, apart from selecting your data collection method, you also need to design the sample. So number 4 is designing a sample. Now, when we talk about designing a sample, you're trying to design a sample for an experiment, for example. You're trying to design a sample for your research project. So you're designing the sample for you to collect that information. And next step will be collecting the information itself. So once you've designed the sample, once you've got the funnel, for example, to collect the fluid would be a metaphor for your research. The data for your research. Once you've got the funnel, to bring in all the information from outside sources, you can use that funnel, together to get that data, to gather all that data, to gather all that information. So collecting collecting information or your data. So this is collection of data. Okay, now apart from collecting data, analyzing and translating the data. So this is analyzing and translating information. Okay. Preparing the research report is next. So preparing the research report, 7. You're working away to figure out the research. Okay, so this is prepare the research report. Now, obviously, your research report will be in a certain format. Okay, just like most of the formal reports. Okay, so this will be the format that you will follow, and you will prepare this research report. All right, so basically these are the 7 steps for you to collect the information that you need to collect for your research project. On behalf of V Electronics, this is Obaid. Have yourself a great day.